Hi guys, it's Michelle Patterson here, and this is the second video in the Reload series. At least I think that's what I'm going to call it. I still haven't decided. So let's take on the topic of sensitivity. Now, especially in the spiritual community, in the New Age community, we have people saying, oh, I'm sensitive. So am I. I'm an empath, okay? And if you don't get that, it's fine. Just if you're coming to this from like a more secular place, that's all well and good. Just, leave the spiritual stuff behind, leave behind what doesn't resonate with you, and try to listen to the rest of it. Okay. So, for my spiritual people, we hear that a lot. Oh, I'm just so sensitive to energies. I'm more mocking myself than anybody else because I've done this. And I wanted to kind of put this out here. How often do we look at sensitivity as a weakness? Why is it a weakness, right? Again, think about this for a second. How many times have you heard people say, oh my gosh, I just cannot be around that person because they're just too negative and I'm just too sensitive. Or, Michelle, I can't listen to you drop F-bombs because words carry energy and I'm too sensitive. And I just don't want to take that energy in. I don't want that clouding up. Oh my God. Okay, really? First of all, when we're talking about energy around a word, the only energy a word carries is the energy of intention. So that changes things, doesn't it? So somebody dropping an F-bomb on you out of anger has a very, okay, fine, I don't want that energy either. I'm going to run away. All right, that's very different than somebody saying it in a more joking manner. And there are going to be a lot of people out there who disagree with that because there is this, again, there's a belief system. There's, in some cases, it goes so far as brainwashing, but maybe that's for another day. But, people get so set in, no, this person said, this spiritual teacher said that words carry energy, and I believe that I am not going to subject myself to that. That's fine, okay? But please don't turn around and judge everybody else for doing it, okay? Because, again, I have no problem with colorful language. I don't use it that often. I mean, I had a friend say to me, oh my gosh, you use that word quite a lot. And I'm like, I guess I do, but it's not meant to be offensive. It's not meant to, do anything but maybe put a little bit of a joke behind something, at least in that scenario, that's where I was coming from. So remember too, let's go back to sensitivity being equated to some sort of weakness. Like, oh, don't say that. Don't do that. Don't challenge my belief system. Don't make me think about anything else because I'm sensitive. You are built for the world that you live in. You are built for the life that you have created, that you have agreed to live. There's nothing you can't handle. So, what I want to pose here today is to change your thinking if you are of this mindset. Try to change your thinking and embrace your sensitivity as a strength. It's an incredible strength. Again, I've had so many people jump to conclusions about who I am and say that I am insensitive. And do I sit and cry in the corner over it? No, but it does. It makes me laugh because I'm thinking, I'm more sensitive probably than anybody you've ever met. I mean, perhaps. So that's hyperbole there for you. But, I am incredibly sensitive. And that's how I pick up on things. That's how I can observe. That's how I get this perspective, this insight. And I want to offer it as a consideration for other people. Just because someone has a presence or can communicate very bluntly, very honestly, does not mean that they're insensitive. If you're on the other side of it and you're saying, but your words hurt me, take accountability. Okay. This is like, get on your own side here. This isn't to fight somebody, but when you're like, ugh, listen, hey, there are people around me that I'm like, okay, I cannot listen to you anymore. I just can't. I'm done. I'm whatever. I'm out, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just walk away because I just, maybe I'm not in the mood. But I'm certainly not looking at that person and saying, oh my God, you're a terrible person for talking like that. And this is this is kind of rampant in the spiritual community, where people will throw judgment towards someone else because I don't like how you made me feel. You made me feel bad. I'm so sensitive. Again, I'm making fun of myself, 3 years ago, because I would have been that person. Because I was in a very kind of broken open kind of place, I was trying to find my way and, whatever. But I'm all better now. And now I'm like, shoot, if you're doing this, why have that perspective of yourself? Okay. Again, if someone's doing something that you don't feel resonates with you, smile and walk away. That's all you have to do. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to carry a grudge against them or anything of the sort. You also, as a sensitive being, yes, if you are a sensitive being, you don't have to run away from life, okay? This is another belief system that occurs quite often with, the spiritual community, metaphysical community, what did I leave out? New Age community, and even in, more mainstream kind of situations. We often want to dislike someone because we say, they made me feel that way. And yes, I air quoted, okay? But nobody makes you do anything. It's up to you. Okay? Conversely, when someone says, why do you let them get to you? Why do you let them make you upset? They didn't make me upset. They spurred something in me that cracked me open that I have to look at. And I just need to be in this space right now. And I might not be the most pleasant company while I do that. Just give me a minute, okay? Kind of thing. So what I'm offering here is for us to start, just consider this other perspective. First of all, let's recap. Sensitivity is not a weakness. You are not a gentle little piece of sugar that's going to melt in the rain. Okay, you're not a delicate little flower that's going to wither and die. You can handle it. You can handle the word fuck. Okay, you can handle it. Yes, you can. Oh my God, my Christian ears. No, sorry, Christians. I'm Christian, so don't know where I came up with that. Like I could just say that to people. But actually, I think people in the New Age community and the spiritual community, that the whole bulb of like spiritual movement kind of stuff, they will be at people for using those words more than I think religious people are. Okay? So again, you're built for the world that you're in. So you can handle it. Another popular thing is I can't handle watching the news. Now, this is one of them where I'm like, I feel you. Okay, this is where we're kind of hitting it straight on, okay? Because the news, there's some theories out there. I want to be careful with this a little bit, but there's some theories out there that news is fabricated, that it's meant to just terrorize us. And I feel that too. So if you're in that mindset, okay, great. If you're not in that mindset, that's great too. But, there are people that full on will disconnect from news, so much so that, and I'll give you an example. I posted something on my Facebook page where this human being was treated very unjustly, and my passions were ignited, and I wanted to use my tiny little platform to get people aware. And so I posted something on my Facebook page and I said, we cannot turn away. We're going to talk about that too. We cannot turn away. What are we going to do about this? And I had somebody who probably considers herself spiritual, okay, get on there and say, what are your intentions? I feel like you're very evil in even posting this. I feel like you're very angry in posting this. I don't come here for this. I don't come here for your anger. Okay, so what's wrong with that? I'm judging, but I felt it was wrong. First of all, she's judging my intentions, and she missed the mark. Okay. Secondly, she's assuming that she knows how I feel. What she was interpreting as anger was actually, passion and a want to make change. Okay. She herself was being very negative and very hateful and wanted to argue with me. This is another thing that I get I get myself into trouble when I, let's call it clap back. When I clap back at people, they're like, oh my gosh, it's about responding, not reacting. Well, I'm with you on that, but what you might perceive as me reacting is me responding. It didn't hurt my feelings. I'm okay. Sorry, you're not. And again, we have to watch, like, what are we assuming that someone is doing, and assuming what their intentions are. Okay. And that does tie back into the whole sensitivity thing where, I don't know, people are just don't harm me. Don't show me anything bad, because I just can't handle it. I'm so sensitive, it's going to stick with me. I know. This is why I can't handle horror films. I don't get that. That's just an aside. I don't get why people like horror films. Ew. My sister's like that. She likes spooky things too. Like, I don't know. But anyway, I'm very sensitive to that, and it will stick with me. And yes, news stories will stick with me. But when something is going amiss in the world, part of why we're here, I believe, is to help one another. Okay? So I've seen, see if I can share this example carefully. I saw somebody who, again, I got to be careful with this. I saw somebody who was like, oh God, I can't even watch that. I'm going to walk away. And what it was this, it involved a baby, okay? And somebody kind of not handling the baby very carefully. Now me, protective little mama that I am, like this had nothing to do with me, but I was like, I'm not going to walk away. I'm going to stand here with my arms out if something happens. But a lot of people are like, oh, I couldn't even watch that. That was scaring me. I just had to walk away. I'm just too sensitive. Okay. That is not an excuse to turn your back on what needs to be done. That is no excuse to turn your back on others who might need help. Okay, who authentically need help. Now, I'm not talking about needy people who are like, oh, love me, love me, love me. Oh, my life is so bad, come love me. I'm not talking about that. Okay, like again, discernment. Okay, figure it out. But not wanting to face a troublesome story. Those people need your prayers. And again, if you're watching and you're kind of not coming from a spiritual place, that's okay. I believe in prayer. I believe in praying to God. I'm team Jesus over here, definitely. But I don't look at anybody else and say, if you don't believe in Jesus, then you're bad. Like, do you? I'm not here to convert anybody. Okay, what you believe is right for you at this time in your life. But again, Jesus went right to the poor. Jesus went right into what most of us would see as an uncomfortable situation, and he didn't look away. And you ain't going to tell me that you're more sensitive than Jesus, okay? So, and again, I'm going to use Jesus because that's, that's the person that I'm most familiar with. That's the story that I'm most familiar with. But, you can probably apply whatever you were raised with, right? These beings that we're supposed to use as our heroes, our mentors, who we're looking up to, who we're trying to emulate. So please don't use your sensitivity as a reason to get sympathy from people, to feed some need within you. Please don't claim sensitivity when someone's being honest and use that as an excuse to attack because you don't like what they said. And certainly do not use your sensitivity, they're quoting all over the place, okay, don't use your sensitivity as an excuse to turn away from human suffering and from your fellow humans going through something on a very small scale. Like not even in I didn't have something huge like some of the world events going on. I didn't have that going on, but I had some very harsh things happening in my world. And I was alone. If I even talked about what I was going through, people would cut me off. They would change the subject. And you would think that I was complaining or something. And I wasn't. I was simply stating what I was going through. Oh, okay. Anyway, this is what's going on with me today. Ooh. So if you're going to do that on a small scale, what are you doing on a larger scale? Now, is this telling you to, get obsessed with the news, get obsessed with war, get obsessed with... No, obviously. But when you do see a headline, again, discern. Do I feel like that's a real headline or is that just sensationalism? Again, get really good, get your radar going with that. But if you think something's going on, pray for that person. This would be the equivalent of somebody witnessing, God forbid, like an accident or something like that, and not wanting to go help because I'm too afraid to see it. I'm too afraid to see it. I am not that person. If you are, okay, again, no judgment here. I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm judging you. I'm just asking you to reconsider. If someone needs you, will you jump into action and help or will you walk away? Again, I feel like people are going to take this very literally. So if you're in a position where you feel like you can't help because you're debilitated in some way, like fear just freezes you, okay, that's no judgment. That's okay. That's how you respond. But I would hope that the people who are watching this, that you would be prepared to jump in and help your fellow human being. And again, as we are human, I have to go into one more thing, and then we'll let this rest. I'm thinking of a story where somebody kind of perhaps had a misjudgment. Somebody was doing something. Again, I'm trying to be careful here because I don't want to, get myself into too much trouble. I'm okay with a little bit of trouble, just not too much. But there was a story that came out about a certain company that has been under fire for a long time. And this person is standing there and she's all like emotional and she's just like, blah, she's doing her whole thing. And the headline was like, another person terrorized by this company. And then you find out what she did and you're like, girl, you're not supposed to do that. But what happened? What happened? See, we as humans were like, I'm going to, I was just saying, get ready to help. But again, discernment. So in this particular situation, we see footage of some person jumping up and like rah, 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 at people who work for this company in defense of this person who was doing something she wasn't supposed to do. Does that make sense? I hope I'm explaining that correctly. So we don't want to go down that road, okay? We don't want to like let our suppressed anger or